give you a chance to come on. I know we have a bunch of people signed up for today, some coming later, some coming on time. I'll always say that as a coach, I always appreciate you coming on time. So thank you. And pardon me for a little congestion coming off a cold, but I'm going to give you all I got today. So thank you all for coming, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm going to do a screen share with you like I've been doing each week. Just get you connected, give you some visuals. And what I do is after this, I'll edit everything up and I'll send it to you. Anyone that's registered, you'll get an email today or tomorrow, and it'll have a copy of today's presentation. So I want to start off just on time. You know, how do we develop, your team in a virtual environment? Many of us today, we've had to adapt. We've had to change our way of doing things. And one of those ways that we had to make a change is we had to go to more of a virtual environment. Whether you run conferences as a part of your business, or your business is typically one that requires people to be together, you had to make a change. And change is good. So I always say, embrace the change and embrace the virtual environment and say, hey, you know what? I'm in a virtual environment now. How could I be great at this virtual environment? How could I make this environment that I'm in now maybe even better than the environment that we were in? And when we understand that and we're able to do that, we've committed. Now, over the past few weeks, I always open up and I put a number on the screen, and today's number is 72. And I don't pick these numbers randomly. We have 72 days left in this year. So I put it there as a reminder to remind you that there's plenty of time left on the clock to do some great things this year. You have 72 days to make it happen. And I share this, I keep this on my desk right in front of me. I don't know if you could see it, but let me turn it the right way here. It says, stay positive, work hard, make it happen. So you got 72 days left for you to make it happen. Don't wait, because if you wait, there's a chance it won't happen. But if you engage and you play offense, there's a good chance that it will. So let's talk about virtual success. Everybody today has a different virtual environment, and they're going about their business differently. Today, I just want to give you some ideas, some tips, some really consumable but usable tactics and strategies that you may be able to directly apply to your personal environment and to your business environment. But I want to open up with this and say, virtual success starts with a leader's decision to go all in on their people, no matter what. So you got to go all in. One of my clients years ago gave me this rock, and I share this story a lot, Brandon Steiner, and he said, here's this rock, I want you to have it. And inscripted on the top of the rock was all in. And it was a reminder to say, hey, whatever you do, whether it's a conversation, whether it's a webinar, whether it's a meeting, whether it's a television segment that you're going to do, whatever it is, writing something, doing something, participating in any way, you got to be all in. And that is the first step to being successful at anything. So ask yourself, thus far, have you been all in? Have you done all that you can do? Or is there more for you to do? Because there's nothing worse than not giving it your all, and only you know if you gave it your all. My all may be more than you. Your all may be more than me. But if I know that I gave something my all, and I looked at this virtual environment and landscape that we have today and said, hey, I did it all. I gave it my all. I gave my people everything I had with the tools that I have. You should be good. But you got to do that no matter what. See, too many of us, we go into situations and we say, well, what if I give it all and they don't like it? What if I give it my all and people leave? It doesn't matter. You as the leader, whatever you do, you have to go into things by giving it your all. And I say there's 5 things as leaders we must do relentlessly with full commitment, that all in relentless commitment to win virtually. And the first thing we have to do is connect, because that's probably the one thing that most people are missing today. You got some folks in a 1-bedroom studio apartment, maybe in New York City, they're not connecting very much in a city that's very connected. Things were taken from them. And in many metropolitan cities, people are missing connection. In the suburbs, people are missing connection. We're connecting digitally today, which is great. But during this time, I've actually started connecting more just using my phone and calling people, not text, not email, but an actual call. Old school, going back, because I realized that the root of success outside of being all in is also connecting with people and learning about people and understanding what these people are wanting and what they're desiring and what they're needing. So what I say is create a weekly hit list. And on your hit list, it's simple. Who is it that I'm going to reach out to this week on my team directly? And who is it on the periphery that I'm going to reach out to today or this week, right? So, on my desk, I always show these. I keep these yellow pads. And on my pads, if somebody pops into my head, I write the name down. I may get to them today. I may get to them tomorrow. But before the week's over, I'm reaching out to them. I believe in universal energy, and there's a reason that person popped into my head. And what's crazy is more times than not, that person ends up reaching out to me. So we have this sort of energized connection going on. But I always write it down. I always, when I'm online and I see something, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook, or I'm engaging with people in Slack or different, connection tools that are out there. If I see something, oh, so-and-so got a promotion. Let me write a note. Let me send something. Or somebody did something and achieved something. Let me call and connect with them on that. So there's so many opportunities to connect. And that begins really, what I feel, is by seeing yourself as a service professional. Whatever your business is, think of yourself as a service professional, and it's your job to always be keeping things in motion and always be servicing people. And when you do that, you will create a very deep connection with people because they know who you are, what you're about, and that you are about connecting with them. So think about your team as that. You have this great team in front of you. How are you connecting with them on a daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly basis during this virtual time? And think about it. Zoom is becoming very numbing for many. So that's probably not the best way to connect. Use your phone, hand write things, send people letters, do these old school type things that still have a lot of value. And your whole idea, and the whole idea behind this, is to create better connection, because the better you connect with people, the better your results are going to be for you as a leader, but also for them as somebody that's working as a part of your organization. Then we talk about empower. What's elevated right now? Stress, anxiety, depression. Those are three things that are very high right now. So how can we start to combat those things? Number one, you're connecting with people. I hear you, I feel you, I understand you. That's the connection piece. Next, the empowerment piece. What is it that you're looking to do? What are you trying to achieve? And then it's your job to empower them and give them the courage and encourage them to take that first step through empowering them to get to where it is that they want to go. In the small print, I wrote, calm their doubts. As a leader, it's your job to calm the doubts of your people. But first, through connection, you have to know what the doubts of your people are. One thing that I'm fortunate to do as a coach is I'm fortunate to be able to connect with a lot of people and ask great questions and get great answers. And then I know where they're at as individuals. And then it's my job as a coach, as a leader, to manage these people and help them through whatever it is they're dealing with. So some people need a lot of encouragement. Some people need a lot of empowerment. Other people may need some of the strategies that we're going to talk about later. But it's my job through connection to know what my people are needing and when. And then I come up with a strategy on what to give them. Okay? Engagement. Like I said, once I connect and I engage, I can empower, right? I'm engaging my people through questions. What are you dealing with? How are you feeling? What's going on? And I'm asking these general questions so I can get to specific questions. But if you're somebody in business and leadership that's always making it about business and leadership, you may be forgetting to engage the actual person. So the way I look at things is this. You have a person, let's say you, and you have your title. Your title is not you, and you are not your title. So we have to address things separate. I want to know who you are personally, so I'm going to ask you questions that are relative to you as a person. But so many of us in business, we're always so focused on moving quickly, bottom lines, what we have to do, that we're actually forgetting the person that's involved in our company, on our team, in our business. We make everything so transactional and so fast that we forget to engage, we forget to empower, and we forget to ultimately connect. And that becomes very dangerous. The next thing we have to do to get our team really humming in a virtual environment is direct them. So once we know what they're needing, how they're feeling, what they're looking to do, we have to make sure that they're doing the things that are moving them towards where it is they want to go. So we have to direct them. Now, that doesn't mean just tell them what to do. It means listen to what they're saying and use almost the bowling analogy where you put these bumpers down and you make sure that their ball is just between those bumpers. They could play a little bit, but we don't want them jumping lanes. And today, when people are left on their own, I always say, if you're in your head, you're often dead, because you're always thinking so much that you could start jumping lanes. So as a leader, make sure that when you communicate with your people, you are always keeping in front of them where it is that they say they want to go, where it is they say they want to be headed. And it's your job as that leader to direct them and keep them in that lane. And directing our people is very, very important, especially without being in the office where you can have that quick meeting or that quick tune-up or, hey, drop in, how you doing, where you at, tell me. So we have to, again, use our connective skills, use our engagement to direct our people. We have to always be thinking about, how do I direct my people towards where it is I need them to go and where they want to go? And that's a very fine balance. Where do I need them to go and where do they want to go? And that is a very, very important balance to understand, because if it's too much about what you want and not enough about what they want and need to feel successful and to be successful, you're going to create friction and it's going to affect your overall connective ability with that person, which means overall it's going to be very difficult to lead that person. Okay, another important thing to remember in a virtual environment: motivate and cheer. So much like encouragement, we also have to be very focused on motivating and cheer. So once our people, we've connected with them, we've encouraged them, we've directed them and kept them in the lines, and they start moving the ball, that's when we motivate and cheer. Come on, let's go. Where are we at? How can we be better? And get them engaged in that process. But again, if we're too transactional, where are we at? And we just keep moving, we forget about this important element, which is motivate and cheer. Back in the day, there was less motivation and cheer, and it was much more of a get it done or get out mentality. Today, we're not in those times. Things have changed. People want to know that you're their biggest fan. The people that work for you, they want to know that you're their biggest fan. But coach, what if they stink? What if they suck? What if they're not doing their job? Well, I'll tell you what. When you can use this virtual time to communicate with your people and get to know them as people, you can actually be harder on them. And that's where you balance being tough on them, because you know where it is that they want to go, where they said they want to go, and where you know they can go, with the motivation and cheer. So it's a balance. It doesn't mean you're falsely cheering for people even when they stink. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when somebody's not doing their job, go right back to your process, right? We have to go back. Let's go back a few steps. We have to connect with them. So let's get on the same page. We have to empower them. Hey, you can do it. Calm their doubts. We have to engage them. Hey, what are you struggling with? Where are you struggling? How could we help you? Move them. Once you have the plan in place, direct them towards where they have to go, and then motivate and cheer. So that's the sequence that I find has worked really, really well. But if you haven't connected with somebody, you've never empowered them, and you're going to start just directing them, they're not going to go for that. It's going to be, yeah, okay. Now there they go again. And that's why so many leaders today feel unheard, or my people don't listen to me, because you're forgetting these major steps. Connect, empower, engage, direct, motivate, and cheer. If you just motivate and cheer without giving them direction and without engaging, empowering, or connecting with them, you're just a cheerleader. And of course, the results oftentimes are not going to be there, and you're going to get frustrated. And then you're going to blame me, and you're going to say, Coach, you said just motivate and cheer, and that'll be what I have to do in a virtual environment to get my people going. But don't forget, the other parts are much more important, because they're the setup steps to the motivate and cheer. And then they all work together, and they're all important, okay? So the biggest reasons teams fail in virtual environments is because leaders take days off. Coach, what do you mean? Leaders take, of course I have to take a day off. I can't work 7 days a week. Well, here's the thing. I was just talking to a coach, and the one thing I've learned through the years about coaching, and I've been doing this over 20 years coaching, is that a coach doesn't really get time off, because they're always working to move their herd forward. They're always saying, hey, here's my people. Here's who I'm responsible for. And I'm making myself all in and responsible for these people. I need to be moving them and directing them, encouraging, motivating, and engaging them towards where it is that we want to go as a company, where I want to go as a leader, and where they want to go. So I said, every day you must tend to your herd, right? There's a herd, and it's your job. Do you let that herd just stay there and tear up the grass? Or are you moving that herd, moving them along? And that's why leaders, really, it's hard to take days off. You know, you always should be thinking about, as a leader, about your people. Every person on your team matters. Now, if you're the CEO and you have 15,000 employees, it's very difficult to be engaged with every single one of those people as individuals. But you could have the mindset, the all-in mindset that says, hey, I can't reach 15,000 people personally, but what could I do to make those 15,000 people feel as if they know me personally, as if they could connect with me personally? How could I create a way for them to connect with me? And when you're thinking like that as a leader, people begin to connect with you at a deeper level, because they know that you have them. And that's, you know, for years I worked under Joe Torre, and the feeling that he gave everyone was, I'm here for you. I got you. Whatever you need, you let me know. And so many of us, we have to realize that every interaction with our people matters. Every interaction matters. Everything we say, how we do what we do, how we go about our business, how we listen, it all matters. So those hand-to-hand people skills, for me, I will say this, they go beyond intelligence, right? It's that social intelligence that matters most. It's that sort of emotional intelligence that matters very, very much, especially in the marketplace today. So if you want to get the most out of your people in a virtual environment and get your team humming, realize this: when you take days off, your herd is moving away from where you want them to be. So again, think about that hit list I talked about. Who do I need to reach out to? How could I reach out to? And how could I always be thinking about connection with my people? Through the phone, you know, through in passing, how could I set up maybe some private meetings where I take some people to lunch, or I have a coffee with somebody, or I create a personal environment for me and somebody on my team, or maybe a few people on my team, where we're connecting virtually, but we're also going to figure out how we can connect just a bit in person, but differently than we did it when we were in the office, where it was just business as usual. Now what we're doing is we're working really hard to humanize our relationships with our people. We have to always be humanizing. And for years, we've gotten into this what I call a leadership bubble, where the leader's in a bubble and he or she leads and people come to them, they ask and they disappear. This person comes and then they leave. What we have to realize is we need to break the bubble and get in with our people, get involved with our people at a very deep level. Don't just follow a script. Don't just make it business as usual, because then it'll become business as usual. And we don't want our relationships to be just based almost like algorithmic relationships where they say this, I say that. They say this, I say that. They say this, I do that. No. We want you to use this time where you actually have a little bit more time and you have actually some space from your team to strategically engage the members of your team. Connect, engage, empower, direct. And when you can motivate and cheer off that, you're going to do great. The second biggest reason teams fail in a virtual environment is because leaders are pushing their agenda. Oftentimes, like I said, this is what I need you to do. This is what I want you to do. This is what I expect of you. What if you flip that and you start asking your people more of what they want to get done, what they need to get done, and what their agenda is? It's a different way of doing it, but it's not costing you your leadership skills or your leadership abilities. It's actually making you a better leader. You're an open leader. You're a collaborative leader. And what you're doing when you lead from that position is you're actually learning what your people want. And when I know what you want, I could then lead you properly. I have a saying, I say individuals make up teams, and you can't forget that. I work with teams all over this country, sales teams, C-suite leadership teams, and individuals that make up those teams. And it's amazing how one part of the team oftentimes doesn't know what somebody else on the team is dealing with. And that's because there's not enough collaboration going on. There's not enough connectivity going on. So oftentimes we're so focused on culture and communication, these big topical terms, but we're actually forgetting what they mean. If I connect with you and I engage you and I empower you and I cheer you and I direct you and you have success, and this person I do the same for, and then you do that for another person. When we all start gelling and we all start doing these things, what do you think is going to happen to your culture? What do you think is going to happen to the overall communication of your organization? When you learn to communicate through the positions of connection, engagement, empowerment, direction, motivate, and cheer, everything changes. Communication is thriving. And as a result, so is your culture. Again, not to repeat myself, but I will say this. People want to be heard today. As a leader, it's your job to give them an environment where they can be heard, feel heard, and as a result of them being heard, they're willing to go do whatever you need them to do in order to achieve the objective. And by you listening, you're also going to understand who your people are and what your people are all about. And that is a very, very powerful tool and thing to take advantage of when you're dealing with people. And it's something that you cannot underestimate. So the lessons of today, I just want to go back. I'm going to post this, but I want you to remember these things here. Connect, empower, engage, direct, motivate, and cheer. Don't take your days off, leaders. Be thinking about your people. Have that hit list. Make sure your herd doesn't spread out and get too far away from you. And don't just push your agenda. Remember, collaboration is a very powerful tool, but it also takes a lot of guts, and collaboration takes a lot of confidence. So when there's a leader that's open to collaboration, that's a strong, strong leader. Now, that doesn't mean always whatever everybody says you do as the leader. It says, hey, let me hear what you have to say. And as the leader, I'll make the final call. But I want to hear what you have to say because it's very, very important to me to know what it is that you have to say. And that's what this time should allow us to do. It should allow us to have more time, less people coming at us, like I said. And as a result, we could engage with people differently than we did. So this virtual environment, this change should be looked at as a benefit, because how much wasted time is there in a typical corporate office setting or in a typical work environment? A lot of wasted time. So don't let your people waste time at home. Have them engaging with people correctly. Have them connecting with people. Have them motivating and cheering for people. And when you could take these 5 things that I mentioned today and get them working for you and your team, it's a game changer. But it takes commitment. And it takes you looking at leadership in a virtual environment and management in a virtual environment and saying, hey, there's 2 pieces to my day. There's 2 separate pieces to my work day and to my role and responsibility as a leader. Ready? Number 1 is doing these 5 things to make sure my people are doing great. Number 2 is the service and transactional nature of my business, which is the everything else. So as a leader, you have a lot of responsibility. You got to make sure your people, your herd, is tended to. That's responsibility number 1. Responsibility number 2 is servicing your business, servicing and transacting and doing the things that you need to do to put the points on the board for you and your company, for you and your business, for you and your team. They are 2 separate things, and I don't like to cross them, because if I start bringing too much transactional nature over to my people, they feel that, and it costs me connection. And if I start bringing too much connection over to my transactional side, it doesn't allow me to make clear decisions that are based on the X's and O's and sometimes the black and white nature of business. So I like to keep things separate, and then I like to take a 40,000-foot view on both of them. And I encourage you to do the same thing, and it works really well. So today's a short and simple webinar that I wanted to put together for today, but these are very, very important things for you to remember as we're attacking here over these next 70 plus days. So take it serious, and remember, as a leader, you have so much power, you have so much strength, and you have so much ability. You just have to show up. And I will say this, you got to be all in. You have to be all in. And that's the challenging part about leadership. And I have something I'm going to do in a few weeks that talks about executive health and executive energy. I'm going to do a webinar on this, because you may be thinking today, hey, coach, these things that you're talking about, fantastic. I'm too tired, burnt out, fatigued, and I don't have the desire to do this. It takes a lot out of me when I have to engage my people. And that is difficult for me to do. Well, then you're never going to be a great leader. So in a few weeks, I'm going to do a webinar that talks about executive health and energy, and I will hope you can join me there. But like Coach Bill Gentry said, always remember leadership is earned. And it's earned by you saying, hey, I'm all in on this thing. I'm all in on this leadership thing. And while my people are not with me every day, I'm going to make them feel as if they are. I'm going to make them feel the love every day. So they know that they're working for someone that's fully committed to them and for them. And also let them know that you expect the same. But your actions will allow them to feel that as well. So remember, there's no days off as a leader. You got to dig in and use this time working in a virtual setting to teach you something. Make this time productive for you. Make this time a special time where you could say, hey, during those 6 months that I wasn't in the office or my company was working in a much more remote virtual environment, I gave it everything I had, and I became the best leader that I could be of people, not just my business. But during this time, I learned how to lead my business. I learned how to lead my company. And I learned to connect, engage, empower, direct, and motivate and cheer for my people in a way that I've never done before. And I'm telling you, when we talk several months from now, it's going to be a game changer for you and your company. And this is how great teams go on and win big. The winning teams that I was on in sports with the Yankees, we had great connectivity and incredible connection amongst each other. Did we get on each other? Yes. Did we push each other hard? Yes. Did we have high expectations for one another? Yes. But we were all in on bringing home a championship. And we were willing to support each other, cheer for each other, motivate, encourage, and empower each other every single day. And we would take our own drama and put it over here. And if it was some drama that involved somebody else, well, we would talk about that drama with that other person and we'd settle it. But this is a wonderful time that we have to really, really develop as an organization, develop our culture, develop our attitudes, and develop truly what we stand for as an organization and as a team. So that's what I have for you all today. Like I said, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'll send you all a link. And this way you have these 5 steps. And also included as step 6 is leaders don't get a day off. So, it's all good stuff. It's very exciting. So I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And if you have any questions, feel free. You could write in the chat for those of you that are on here. And also you could feel free to email me as well. I have some of my favorites on here today. And I've got my Mitchell, and I have Bill Gentry, Jeff, Holly, Eddie Talk. Wonderful people. Ruth is here, and Wendy. So thank you, Phil, Michael, Kent, Jen, Jeffrey again, and Anthony Brown. So I really appreciate everybody coming on and being a part of this thing. And I'm committed to coming on here and doing these webinars, just short ones, 20 to 35 minutes, to help you in your high performance journey and help you to build your teams and empower people. And the more we can do that, the more winning we're going to do. And I know this group likes winning. I see the names up there, a bunch of winners. So thank you, everybody. And I'll hang here for a few seconds. If you have any questions, again, feel free to put it in the chat. If not, I'm going to give you my email too, just so you all have it, if for those of you that don't have it. And any questions you have, I'm here for you. So thank you, and apply those 5 steps that I mentioned. So thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Eddie, and thank you, Bill, and thank you, everybody else. So I appreciate it. And leadership is a very, very important position. And even if you don't have the title, start by seeing yourself as a leader. I say start by seeing yourself as a champion. And when you see yourself as a champion, you can make things happen. And I like I said, I keep it on my desk. Stay positive, work hard, and make it happen. So that's what I got for you all today. Thank you again, Phil. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for coming on. And if you have any suggestions for any webinars in the future, anything that you all are dealing with, I'm happy to put one together. Just like I said, 20 to 35 minutes short. And then we got to get right back to our day, and we got to keep on winning. So can't waste too much time. So thank you again, everybody. And I'll be seeing you real soon. Thanks again for your time today. Thank you, Jen. And Phil, like I said, Wendy, Mitchell, and my whole team at RK and my team at Central. Thank you all so much. And I'll see you later. Bye.